do it the Shoshie way. I'm gonna teach you, be ready to learn. Cause when I'm done, it's your turn. Take your time, steady and you can do it right. Shoshie can enter my world, watch what grows. And when I'm through, oh, why not have it go? Take your time, steady and you can do it right. Shoshie can enter my world, watch what grows. And when I'm through, oh, why not have it go? Oh, we paint miniatures. We paint miniatures. We paint miniatures. Turn on, tune in, hear what I say. Watch real closely, enjoy your stay. You'll see me painting from up above. And if you like it, give it mad love. Take your time, steady and you can do it right. Shoshie can enter my world, watch what grows. And when I'm through, oh, why not have it go? Take your time, steady and you can do it right. Shoshie can enter my world, watch what grows. And when I'm through, oh, why not have it go? We paint miniatures. 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 We paint miniatures.
Hello, it's Shoshie from Shoshie's Minis, and I wanted to welcome you. We're doing a very special video today. I'm going to be painting this model called Maltique, and it's from Creature Caster. And this model is very special to me because my best friend Michelle has breast cancer, and it actually spread to her brain, but it is something she wants to get the story out, so we can create awareness. And Creature Caster is doing a partnership with myself and her to be able to promote this and to get her story out, because she's such an amazing part of this community. So yeah, let's take a look at this model here. Here she is. She's currently primed in Glossy Black. I used a Glossy Black primer because there's a lot of metal on this, and I find that metallic tends to look really good on glossy primer. So if my model doesn't look the same as yours after you built it, it's because when I got her, I didn't have my instructions. So she could be a little bit different. I kind of winged it, but for what we need to do to paint her, everything's going to work out. All right, let's see. You're going to need some brushes, and some of the brushes you're going to need. This is a brush from Monument Hobbies. It's one of their Pro Synthetics. It's got a very soft, fluffy end. I also have one from Rosemary Company. This one's a little bit stiffer, but the point is it's called a round, and you want these very soft, and here's a smaller one, very soft ends. And you can use a makeup brush, and if you don't have a round, you can get a wedge, just as long as, you know, or even a flat will work as well. You're just wanting to be able to use it as a dry brush. So whatever you've got in the, you know, in the dry brush category. Here's another one. So I've got several of these, and this will make painting her very quick if we're going to do some metallic metals. And Michelle is painting hers with a silver metallic, so I think I'm going to go a little bit different and go with a more brown metallic. So I'm going to start with a brown metallic. I've got this, and I also have, let me see if I have a dark metallic on my other brand. Yep, and I've got in here, this one is bronze. So both of these will work as long as it's a brown metallic. I'm going to put this on my palette. And I love this color, Tinny Tin. You don't have to use this color though. I'm going to start, I think I'm going to start with my smaller. This is a medium, Rosemary Company. And I'm just going to load up my brush with some paint, and you can see it's nice and loaded, but this is one of the important steps to dry brushing. We're going to wipe a lot of it off so that we get excess taken off. I'm going to start at the back, because if we start at the back, and you can see how I can just hit the top of the model. I'm starting at the back, that way if I got too much on my paint or on my brush, I can always, you know, it's not going to be as noticeable if I make a mistake on the back. And I'm just going to do in little circular motions, just like this. You're going to load the paint, wipe it off, and then it's called scumbling, this brushing technique. It's called scumbling. We're going to scumble the paint onto the model so we get some really nice. Leave all the black in the shadows that is on the model already. And you see how the highlights are picked up. And don't worry if you miss spots, because really we're only really wanting what's being picked up by the light. So if you are unable to reach a spot, it's going to stay dark, because guess what? That if we can't reach it, the light is probably not going to be able to reach it as well either. So we're just kind of, like again, scumbling over the whole model. When you use this technique on something like this that has so much mechanical parts, it goes very fast. And you're welcome to try to paint this in non-metallic metal. I think it's going to be quite a challenge, because you're going to have to really have a strong light source. With true metallic metals, you don't have to worry about that nearly as much. Wipe. So see how I'm, there we go. Little circling. There we go. I'm going to say there we go a lot. Okay, I'm leaving these little blades because I think I'd like to make those a more silver color. But her whole chair, let me show you when we get further along here. I'm going to show you Maltique is meant to be like a chemo, like almost like hooked up to a chemo chair. And so if I get some metallic on her arms, it's all right. We want to just hit the spots first. We can always go back over areas with other colors of paint at a later time. We just want to make sure to get those metallic areas first. Yeah, I really am happy that I chose this brown because I think it's going to be striking when we start adding some of the highlights. Like I said, I'm not able to get down there too much, so that's okay. Make sure to get the sides. Wipe it off. And I'm just feathering it on. I'm just barely touching. I'm not trying to push this into the cracks at all because I don't want it into the cracks. There we go. There's a lot of details on this model. I think actually this model would have done really well as a bigger model, but it works really well as a small one as well. All right, last arm back there. I want to hit that. All right, so there, that is our first. Just making sure I'm getting all of the spots, like on the elbows of the, she's kind of like got this spidery chair, so I want to get the elbows of that. All right. Now I'm going to rinse my brush out so that I have a clean brush for the next time I need this, because we're going to do this in layers. So see how I'm cleaning my brush? All right, now that, because of the way we applied that, that should dry fairly quickly. I need to use some copper. This is going to be my highlight. But you don't have to use copper. You could also go with a light bronze. But I think I'm going to go with copper because it's more steampunky. Oop, it just needs to be, your metallics need to be shaken very well. All right, copper is on the palette. I probably have way more than I need. And now I'm going to take a detail brush. This one is a 3. It might be too big, but I think what's important is that the tip is pointed. That's what's important. All right, I'm pulling out paint. I'm going to take my glasses off so I can get to the details. And I'm just going to go in here, and there's like some Art Nouveau kind of deco up here on her chair that's absolutely gorgeous. And I'm just going to hit these highlights on there. Picking out the little details that I like. And you might want to do different details. You might want to do them in silver or some other kind of standout color. That is completely okay. I'm just using the side of my brush to kind of wipe paint across. There we go. Stunning. I love the details on her chair. Okay, wait. Over here. I'm just looking around for other places where I could put this. So let's do these little circly doodads. I don't know what everything is. And then up at the top, there are little rivets. And I know this is going to be tedious, but I'm going to go ahead and paint all the little rivets. Just give them a little ding highlight. And of course, on the top of the guga. And there's some little steam pipes here or something. the description of, I copied the description from the Creature Caster website about the Maltique story and about Michelle's story. So please go ahead and take a peek at that and look at that. Let's do this right here as all the little circle things, and there are a lot of little dots and rivets, and I'm just hitting them with a little highlight. And then if I see a sharp edge like on the side of her these blades, let's go ahead and hit that with some copper as well to give it some definition. And a little, anywhere there's a little bit of a sharp edge, we're gonna pop some copper on that. Over here. There's going to be lots of edges. And if you're painting this in non-metallic metal, you'll be doing lots of edges as well. Okay. If you are very impatient, because I am also impatient, you can go ahead and just dry brush a little highlight back on this. I want to do my best job, so I'm going to be more methodical and meticulous than if I were just doing a quick paint job. I'm just kind of looking to where's the lamp? My lamp from my overhead light is giving natural highlights. So I go and I look at that and I see where is that on the model, and I just paint it on. There we go. Again, more. See how beautiful this contrast is already? Oh, and there's some more doodads. I'm going to call them gewgaws. Gewgaws, doodads. Little parts of the model. There we go. Okay, and then this is like a little air compressor, I think, maybe. Like that. I think the little buttons on there, and there's some little, oh, I like that. Okay. Again, hitting those edges. I don't have to hit every single part, but just the tops where the light is going to really bounce. There we go. And since the light is going to settle down at the bottom, sometimes that's, there we go. Working my way around the model just like this. So I kind of don't like that little spot that I just did right there, so I might actually go back. If you make a mistake, go back with your base color and cover it. It's not, nobody's gonna know if you made a mistake if you cover it back up. All right, so back over here, let's get more. And again, we're going over our edges. Ooh. You don't want to thin, you don't really want to thin metallic paint. It will tend to split on you. It's a little bit easier to control as well if you're not thinning it. If you do use a wet palette though, it's gonna end up collecting water and splitting on you later. So sometimes it's best to use a dry palette with metallics. I'm not doing that, so you can also ignore my advice and just do what I'm doing. There we go. We're getting a nice antique look, antique vibe. I'm seeing some spots where we could do some glowing effects. I'm gonna stop right now. I'm gonna get out my white because I want to paint. I want to just experiment and see. Oh, my white is always clogged. I'm gonna see what happens when I do my glowing effects over these metallics. Okay, that should be good. Nope. Now we can, yeah, there we go. Just a little white on my palette. And this I do want to kind of thin out a little bit. I don't want it super, super thick. But this whole little piece right here, I'm going to paint solid white. Flip it over if you need to get the other side of it. And I'm probably going to stop in between to get some photos for work in progress pics to put on social media. All right, so each one of those legs has a little bar like that. This might be tricky. You might find that you could sub-assemble this and paint these a little easier. I'm not going to stress too much if I can't reach it. Yeah, I think that's going to look cool. I'll just do my best. Sometimes it takes a lot of daily practice to get brush controls, so where you're not messing. See, I even got, I don't know if you can see, but I even got a little white on the model there, but that's all right. We'll turn that into a little OSL anyway. Okay, so checking on the back. These big claws, I don't think have, I guess they do. We can put one right here. We'll call that the power converters, maybe, or the engines of the legs. We don't know. It's science. It's science fiction. Science fantasy. Do one on this leg. And again, if I get white on the leg, I can go back and touch it up after the fact. Or I can just turn it into OSL. That's the other option. All right, we got that. Let's see, make sure. Oh, we got one more right here. Now, I'm going to be going to go see Michelle, and I'm going to do an interview with her. So I'm really excited about that, so that you get to really, ooh, let's put a white light right under here. That will be cool. See if there's some other spots I can put some. I might do some of these little pipes later, but I'm not sure yet. Check on the back to see if there's anything. That looks good to me. Okay, we could do this too, right here. It's really up to you on how creative that you want to get. This is your model. I thought maybe it would be kind of cool to have a little glow effect here and there on the legs. Is there any other spots on these legs? Nope, 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 nope. Okay, that looks good. Oh, we could do this right here as well. See, my white tends to dry quickly, so you want to keep water in your brush. That's why I like to use a 3 and not a smaller brush, because I can load my brush up with some water and then the paint doesn't dry nearly as fast. Okay, while that is dry, yeah, I like that. Okay, so we're just doing little spots, little hot spots. If you've ever painted War Machine, this model would be a really great Crix model because it's very similar. Okay, got everything. I see a few mistakes. I'm going to go back in with my brown tinny tin, and I'm just going to touch those spots that I just went overboard with. There's quite a few. And like I said, don't stress about it too much. I'm just showing you how you can clean it up if you want to. If you've ever seen my friend Michelle's work, it's kind of insane what she's able to do. She's very talented. Oh, I found some more back here. And one more spot down here. Did I get it all? That's enough. All right, not stressing. I'm gonna do a few more highlights on the copper legs in front. So those should kind of show up a little bit. It's looking good. Okay. All right, if you're able to hear my husband on the tape, just cut this out of the video. Sorry about that. Okay, and I am just going in here again, and I am doing my little highlights where I feel like this light will hit on these sharp edges. And if you get impatient, go ahead and just do a little quick dry brush instead. These are, I don't know what these are, more pipes. There's lots of pipes and things. So I take the side of my brush. Oh, and there's more of this little filigree back here. I'm gonna go ahead and definitely paint that to look really pretty. There's a lot. Oh, I just noticed some more back here. And we'll get this little, there's like a little fan. Oh, and maybe we could do, there's some little exhaust system things here. We could fill that with white as well. And if I don't end up liking it, I can take it out. I see some more little Art Deco, and when I do this little Art Deco thing, I've got my brush loaded, but then I'm gonna wipe off, just like a dry brush, but I'm leaving quite a bit of paint still in it. Then I take the side of my brush and I just hit those little details, those little highlights, so that they pop. All right, and then over here, get that sharp edge. Oh, I see a little piece of white right there that I can go ahead and cover real quick with my tinny tin. And then get back into my copper. I always wipe off my brush just a little bit so I don't have too much paint loaded. It's really coming along very nicely. I'm very, very happy with the way things are going. There's a lot of little gears back here. I'm just, again, touching spots on the tops of them so that wherever light has been hitting. Let's go ahead and put copper highlight on all of that, since we did straight copper, not just a little highlight, but just solid copper. Or bronze, whatever you're using, that's your highlight. Okay, going on the tops of all of these little elbows. Because again, that's where the light's going to be. And if you need a little help, you can take your phone camera and turn, well, sorry, the flashlight of your phone, and you can shine that on your model to kind of get an idea of where your highlights are going to be. All right, that is looking really nice. Let's experiment with our green. Okay, so I've got a couple different choices I can make. I know that GW makes a really gorgeous kind of green wash. We can go with a fluorescent. Let's do that, because I think that's going to pop maybe the most. So I've got a fluorescent green from Model Color. Shake it real good. This paint is a little bit old. If this color doesn't look right to me, what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to go with a different color. I think this is, yeah, that's going to look amazing. Look at how bright and crazy that is. Now, we have already got our white. I'm going to water this down first, because this is really, really intense. So we don't need thick paint, because we want that white to shine through behind it. And I'm just gonna leave that to dry, and then we'll tune it up in a minute here, and I'll show you how. All of the areas that have a little white are gonna get this. I'm just gonna practice here and see what happens when I just take a little fluoro and put it over my metal here in a few places to give it, see, it doesn't quite work without the white underneath it, so I'm going to mix a little white, and I'm just going to touch a few spots and let it dry, and we'll come back over it with the green, right? Ooh, this whole pipe could be potentially green too. Let's see what happens. I'm just running with it. Let's just see what happens. Whenever I'm painting a model for the first time, I just let it, happy accidents happen. All right, that looks really cool. And I feel like I want to do that on a few more pipes. So I'm going to use my white, mix a little bit of fluoro green with it, just so it's not only white. To give you that kind of chemical look. One of the other reasons why Michelle and Creature Caster are so suited for each other is because she loves painting monsters and they like to create them. Ooh, and let's do this big one over here. Creature Caster is also donating 50% of all the proceeds on Maltique to British Columbia Breast Cancer Research Institute, which is pretty cool. Oh, I like that. Okay. Now, if I get too crazy, if I get too carried away with all of my colors and stuff here, we can always dial it back later. Okay. Oops, brush flying out of my hand. All right. That is, I think that's enough. We don't want to do every single thing or it's just going to be too busy and distracting. So here's my, oh yeah, that looks really nice. Ooh. Crazy. There we go. All right, that looks pretty nice. Okay, and then don't forget we have this little thing down here. Very cool, yeah. All of the other white areas, brush that green on top of it. And again, if I mess up, it's okay because it'll be throwing light over there anyway, probably. Oh, we got paint on that one. You know what? Do we want to do that? Let's try it. Let's see if this is too much. I like it. And again, if I don't like it, I can just go back over it with the tinny tin and the copper. Let this dry completely before I add that green back onto it. That's cool. All right. Getting some of the green. Let's hit here. Need to thin it out a little bit, it's a little thick. Remember the white is going to luminesce up through it. Okay. Okay, I got all those for this one. Flip it around. You might not be able to see everything, so just wing it for yourself. It's okay. Cool is the rule, right? If it's the rule of cool, it looks good to you. All right, now this is dry, so I can go ahead and add some of that green. That might be too much. I think I might get rid of that. We'll see. It'll give you a good... yeah, well, I don't know. We could leave it for now. Let's tell you what, we're gonna lighten it up with a little white. It's a little bit, see, and I got some green over here I want to cover up anyway. All right, so it's a little bit bright. I'm going to take my white again, and in the center, I'm going to add a little white there so it's not crazy. I don't hate that. Well, I don't know. I think it's too much. Let's go ahead and see if we can cover it up. We're going to take the, oh, drop the brush. I'll just grab a different one then. So I'm just gonna reapply my tinny tin, and it goes over that white really nice because it's a darker color. See, this is how you're gonna correct any mistakes you made as well. I never strip models because you can always just paint over it. And as long as you're using thin enough coats, you can fix almost everything. The trick is having thin layers, so that way you're not covering up all your details. All right, I like that so much better. In fact, I think I want to get rid of this as well because it's a little too busy for me. Okay. I'm gonna let that dry. I just noticed a little bit of a mess up over here. Fix it, add some copper. There we go. Alrighty, I'm finding other little areas where I got green all over the place. Okay. Now, I do want to put some copper highlights on these pipes here because I want to show that some of these pipes are in front and some of them are in back, so we create this layered look, right? And it also looks like kind of a throne. All right, now Maltique has a dress on. I think for breast cancer, maybe we can go with I want to go with a dark pink maybe. Let's see, let's just try it. I don't know that I'm gonna like it, and again, I can fix it if I don't. Here's mahogany for my base. And we might just go with mahogany and then highlight with pink and see. So here's her dress. I like that mahogany, it looks good. I think that's gonna be a good base. Thin out my paint because her details are very, very subtle. I want to paint that entire dress mahogany, and then there is some, see where I had the dry brushing, there is some that has to get covered up. Okay. And she does have some skin. Let's get into the skin. So, how do I want to do this? I will base her skin tone with a brown. Let's do this dark umber brown. That will be her skin tone. That will give us some real good contrasts. I'm going to add a little bit of mahogany to it. Just a little bit. And I'm going to start painting all of her skin tones. I've got a smaller brush now, and I've got a 2. And she's got little fingers pointed at her temple. Okay, that's looking nice. We're going to go ahead and do her chest as well. There are more pipes and things around her arms, but I'm going to go ahead and paint the brown over that, and we can go ahead and black those pipes out later. Okay, let's do the legs up here. I know you're probably wondering, why are you painting her skin brown if she's, because I'm going to start her brown and we're going to highlight up. But brown is our base for our darkest shadows. And I'm being real careful to try to erase any brush strokes, because the glossy paint is great for metallics, but it's not as great for matte paint, which this paint is matte. All right, that's looking, I like that so far. Let's go ahead. Now, for our next color, we're going to take some Shadow Flesh or a dark peachy color. This is because I want to make her, actually I want to start her, yeah, I'm just going to mix this very thin. I don't know if you can see my palette, but can you see how you can see the white? I'm creating a glaze. It's going to be time consuming. But start at the highlights and you're pulling that paint around. And I need a little bit more. It needs to be thick enough that the paint isn't too thin. All right, now down the center of her nose. Her chin. I'm starting at the highest points of the model, and then I will drop my brush onto my paper towel, so I mopped up a bunch of paint and just pushing this around the model. Okay, let things dry completely before you touch it again. We're going to go to another part of the model, so we're not, here I need more thick paint. There we go. Now notice that the paint now is a little bit smaller than the last layer, so the brown layer is going to be on top, is on the bottom, and this peach layer is going to be on top of it, but it's also going to be right in front of it, right? Like like shingles on a roof. Right, so each layer we're building up on top. Her details are really tiny, so when you go ahead and paint these little fingers, leave that little space, as that little space in between is going to be brown. See how I'm letting things dry in between? It's better to just do lots of little slow layers to build things up. It's coming. It's gonna look good, I think. Obviously, I'm gonna go back with my green, and nothing on that is finished, so. Get her chin and then pull down from her cheeks. I started on her cheeks. And then rinse brush, pull down with a clean brush so that you're leaving the highest points of the cheeks the darkest. I'm going to go ahead and go over her mouth too. Here's the nose. Starting in the eyelids. Okay, the knee is going to have the top highlight, right? And then we're pulling paint down from the knee because it's going to get lighter as, see how it's thinning out and blending into the knee, or blending into the leg rather. This is a more advanced technique to try to do this tiny blending. So if you don't have blending down, you can watch some of my other skin tone videos and kind of get where I'm going with this. But you really need to have a good handle on blending to really get this. Starting to look good. Okay. I'll leave that. I'm going to go back into her face again now that it's a little bit more dry. I'm going to go ahead and put some paint into her eyes because unfortunately the way I had it, I think it was going to end up looking bad. So I'm just going to cover that, let it dry, and then come back and shade down if I need to. Every time I add a layer, I'm looking at where on the body is it going to be the lightest and just adding that layer on that one spot where it's the lightest, right? Smoothing it. Like I'm using this back and forth kind of mopping motion to really try to blend. Okay. That needs to dry. While that's drying, let's go work on some of the green again, because I feel like that needs some work. Let's take some, well, let's try to take, I think Coelia green shade's the one I need. Let me check and see if I have it. So I have a Citadel wash. I have this one, which is a little darker than I think I want. Let me check and see if I've got Coelia. Yes. Nope. Real tan. That's actually better. Yeah, let's use this. This is it's got a lot of yellow in it and it's nice and bright. Let's see what This is brand new. Watch me spill this everywhere. All right, we're gonna take some of this Beal Tan, I think that's how I say it, and over the ones that have little ridges. Yeah, that looks cool. Yeah, just put a little wash of that over that. Maybe it does need to be a little darker. Let's try this one. Let's try Athonian Camo shade. Actually, neither one of these may end up being what we go with. Let's try this one. Nope, that one's too brown. Too much brown. Don't want that. Let's try a little green ink. This one's from Green Stuff World in Intensity Ink. Let's try, oh yeah, that might work better. Try a little green ink. I'm trying to remember my War Machine techniques back in the day. There we go. Yes. Yeah, that's what I want. So I'm going to hit that. Just a shade. Oh, I got some on her arm. That I don't want. I do like this. Oh, I found some mistake back there. We're going to fix that in a second. Oh yeah, I like that a lot. And let's go down under here. Let's fix that one little mistake back here. Hold on, cut. Hey Mike, I can hear you typing. Okay, I'm still not 100% satisfied with that green, so I'm going to take my transparent green and see if I can shade that. So what I need something like almost a lot more pigmented because I really want to get a contrast. So let's take this transparent green and see. Yeah, that's a little better. I'm just going to blend it where it's going behind things. Make it a little bit more 3D. Put some around the edges of here. You kind of wipe out, see, put it on and then wipe it off the top. I like that green on the side there. Yeah, that is starting to look cool. Remember we said rule of cool? I'm going to go back here and touch up where I see green on stuff. Okay. I'm going to keep doing that on all my other green spots back here. Oop. No, no, no. I'm happier. It doesn't feel quite so it doesn't feel quite so crazy now. Let's do this little light at the bottom. I'm just going to take a tiny bit of this green here, boom, in the middle. So it does feel like it's glowing there. And again with this, I want to add a few highlights here with this fluorescent. Yeah, that's looking neat. Woo, okay, let's go back into her. We're gonna add let's see, I'm gonna go ahead and start lightening up her skin more and more. We're gonna use this tan peachy color. And I'm gonna mix that with my first color so that I get somewhat in between. So I'm not just, yeah, I need to mix it more with my first peach. Oops, see, it's still too light. Now what we could do is just put this where the highlight colors are and then do a glaze over it with the other peach, which, yeah, let's do that. We're gonna take the lighter color and use that for a highlight. See how it's popping? Gonna go ahead and get the nose above the eyes. Under the eyelids. So tiny, you're just gonna, now this is where I start trying to blend this a little bit. Just a little bit. It's gonna take a magic touch. It's looking better. Get that elbow, that nice bright elbow right there. Now, she's not in the best health. She's hooked up. She's got chemicals. So let's start looking about putting some colors that really kind of reflect that. Let's see if I've got here. We've got some Screaming Skull, and we've got, oh, this Layered One Flesh. That's a good one. Whoop. Brushes everywhere. Brushes flying. Shaking this good. Okay, I'm going to throw this on my palette. Now this is a satin. It's going to blend a lot better than some of these flat paints that I've been using. And that's the thing you got to think about as well. Is it's much easier to do a satin over a flat than it is a flat over a satin. So this is my next highlight here. Yeah, that's cool. I'm going to add just a smidge of pink into that, mix it in there, just so it blends a little bit better. Yeah, this is slow and methodical, but they can speed this up. If you can always speed this up. Yeah, that's looking good. I like that. It's nice and blended. And she's getting more pale, which I like. Now she does have a little skirt option. So if you don't want to paint a bunch of skin, you can always give her a skirt that goes down to the ground. And some people might like that anyway, even if they do like painting skin. All right, that's looking nice. Let's go ahead and layer up the chest area here. Okay. All right, for her lips, I'm going to go back into my burgundy. And let's go ahead and paint her eyelids. Give them a little bit of a burgundy look. I like that, actually. Let's go ahead and paint her lips, very tiny lips, so might have to go back in and touch stuff up there. And she does have some little doodads on her head. So I'm going back in with the burgundy to put those back in. See? You can always add a little bit of copper and stuff like that later. All right, I know I want to go with this. I got some pink. I think I want to make her flesh very kind of, I'm going to add a little bit of medium to this because I want her to, this is called, here, wait, do I have, this is called Master Medium, and I think it's just acrylic medium. But I'm going to add this to my palette, and I'm just going to use it to paint this pink on with, because again, I want it to be thin. I might need an even smaller brush. Yeah, that's looking good. What the medium does is it gives it more of a satin sheen, because skin is a lot more, it's a lot more satin. Yeah, that's perfect. And I'm going just and highlighting the different parts of her face to start. And then her hand. This is with the pink. I like this, yeah. All right, let's go back to our pink here, and I'm gonna blend that into our cheeks. Yeah. Okay, so with the darkest of this, I'm going to add a little medium to this. I'm going to add this to her eyelids very carefully. Yeah. Let's get back into that pink. All right, that's looking good. This medium was a good idea. It gives it that kind of otherworldly effect. I feel like it needs just a smidge. So when I paint skin tones, we're gonna use a little bit of this turquoise. Yep, just a little bit. I'm gonna put some medium in this as well, mix that with my pink. And we're gonna put this on places where there might be a little bit of cooled off shadows. You might even need a little purple, but for now we'll just use that. So when you mix that pink with that blue, you get kind of a really cool pale color. I like that. Kind of ghostly. We're just cooling down her skin. Yeah, I really like that. I need more medium. So we've got those undertones right now of the pink, but then we've got this kind of pale blue on top, and it's, yeah, that's giving me good. All right, that needs to dry because we're going to add, what are we going to do? We need a little bit of yellow, just a smidge. I'm going to take, actually what I really need is a pastel yellow. And I'm going to take a Reaper color that I like, that is pastel. Yeah, this one's good. Oh, wait, no, here's a good one. Nope, that's not yellow. Here we go, Golden Glow from Reaper. You can see what color, light yellow it is. Now yellow is going to act like our light source. So we can give her some little, again, we're using that medium back over here. So I want to thin that out. I'm going to add just a little tiny bit of that pink to it again. And that's going to go on the top of her knee. Top of her, both of her knees. On top of her foot here. Just very kind of ethereal right now, huh? Okay. Now, one of the other things I'm going to do is I'm going to take just a little bit of this fuchsia. This is pure magenta. You just need a tiniest. Now here's the thing. This model, she's not well, right? So I don't want a lot of red because red is life, right? Red is alive. We're going to add a little bit of medium to this. We're going to add a little bit of the pink to it. And I'm going to put this on spots like on her elbow. On her elbows, where maybe a little bit on the end of her knee, where there's going to be any kind of blood, she's going to have those little blushy spots. And if we get too much, we'll put some on the end of her nose and on her cheeks. Yeah, that's pretty cool looking. I'm going to go back with my medium and my pink because if I get too much, I got to cover it in a thin glaze. Right here's a little bit bright. All right, I don't like her lips. Something's going on. I need to get some magnifiers or get my, let's see, what color? We're going to use this pink. I don't know if it's going to work. Let's try this on her dress and see. I'm going to mix a little bit of magenta with it. And a little bit of her, yeah, that'll be okay. I mixed a little bit of the burgundy that we started with. That's okay. I'm not hating it. Actually, I do like it. She's called an Auromancer, so she's like an empath and can read other people's auras. That's pretty. Actually, I really like that. That color is sort of a desaturated pink. And I'm just trying to hit the tops of these highlights as best I can, leaving some of that brown in the edges for my shadow. Let's add a little bit more saturated color here as we're going up in intensity. That's pretty. Okay, I'm going to stop and take some social media pictures. If you need to cut this, see if I can find my phone. Here it is. Yeah, I need to work on the face a little bit more. I'm not happy with the eyes. Okay, I'm going to use a teeny brush now. This is a synthetic, so it's going to be nice and sharp. I'm going to take some, I need some dark color like blue, dark blue. And the reason why I'm not using black is because it will kind of flatten out on the model. If I mix a little of this blue, oh yeah, it will look even darker than a black will. I'm going to mix some of that with some of the, there we go. Now I'm going to paint her little lower eyelashes. Holding my breath here. I'm going to go ahead and paint her lips. I like that. I like the lips kind of dark and blue. Yeah, I think it needs to be because they show up. All right, back to the lighter color on the eyelids, just a smidge. I think I want to use a little bit of this yellow. Yep, that was the right decision. Oof, see, I messed that up. There's a little mold line going through her eye, I think. Let's go back with the brown. I really want some. Let's do the blue again. Let's mix that with this. The first eye looks great. It's always so tricky. There we go. We're getting there. Okay, I'm almost happy with that. And I do like the idea of the blue so much better than black. That looks cool. Okay, just connecting these little pipes now. Some of these can be this dark blue. Oh yeah. That's cool. Going back in here where I've missed some. There we go. Okay, I'm going to sneeze so you can cut this out. It's going to go away, watch. Please cut that out. Okay, going back in here with her pink. I think that painting smaller models is actually much harder than painting big ones. I kind of wish this was bigger. It's beautiful though. It's really, the pink and the green looks really nice. I think I want it to be a brighter pink though, so let me look and see if I've got brighter pink in my repertoire here. Here we go. Oh, that's not pink. I've got a fuchsia. It's pretty bright. Oh, you know what? This is perfect. Reaper put out a support breast cancer awareness month, and then Susan G. Komen on the bottle. So we're going to use some of that. I don't know if you can still buy this or if it's special or not, but it's a really pretty pink. It's just the perfect color for her. Okay. Yep, that's perfect. Absolutely perfect. And I'm just kind of stippling, like touching this highlight on, because I just right, and this is sort of a pretty. Mix it with some of this. Very nice. Okay, let's go up here. Go back with this pink. See where the highlights are? Just kind of hit them with your brush like this on the top. Oh, that's so pretty. A lot of love in this model, I can tell you that. I just want to tell you about my friend Michelle. When I first started in the painting scene, you know, she was already kind of a known person. I wasn't. And it took me a while to get to know her. And when I finally did, I just saw what an amazing person she was. She's always so generous and giving. And I remember the very first time I had posted something on Facebook about how I wanted this Star Wars, oh look at that, that's so pretty, Star Wars Bluetooth speaker. It's like in the shape of the Millennium Falcon, and it just was really cool. I was kind of actually talking to my husband on the original post, wanting him to get it for me. And little did I know, but she just went and bought it for me without me even, I mean, just no questions asked. And I was so shocked because I had never had a friend like that do that before. And that was when I was like, that's the kind of friend I am. And I deserve to have a friend like Michelle. There we go. That's so pretty. Oh my gosh. I'm going to give her elbow just a little bit more of this pink here. Let's give the tip of her nose. All right, I got too much pink on her chin. There we go. Oh, so pretty. Oh my gosh, it's crazy good. Okay, let's do more of this dress. I'm going to take some of this yellow. Let's put that here. I like the yellow because it tones down that green a little bit, just a little bit. Do I want it to be toned down? Let's see. Yeah, it needs the yellow under the green. There we go. All right, so let's go back to the little lights here. We're gonna take this green again, and we're just gonna see about going right down the center. Maybe not, maybe with a little yellow then. Yeah, that's better. Back with my green. This music goes really well with this model. Right now it's kind of haunting. All right, back with my blue to go back over her little tubes. I'm putting some blue down in the shadows here. We can add a little burgundy too to shade. Because we're pushing our shadows now. Because actually, when you have metal, and that blue looks really good with that copper too. When you have metal, shadows are actually not shiny at all. So we're gonna shade that all down. What should we do? We should do pink shoes. Let's get into that desaturated color again. Yep, that looks good. Oh, so pretty. Remember that every mini goes through kind of like an ugly stage, and you just have to keep painting through it. And sometimes you want to throw it through a window, but you need to hold on because it's just in the ugly stage. You need to be patient with yourself. There we go. That's pretty. Just a little bit of that pink highlight. Go up here on the top of her knee. All right, on these little buttons on her dress, I'm going to take this pink. Just hit each one. And then she's got some kind of, let's try the tinny tin on her dress. Let's go around the edges. Give that metallic. Tie that into her chair. Yeah, I like that. If we need to add some copper, we can. I'm going back over the buttons with this color again because it didn't work for me. Get a little blue, get a little burgundy. It's getting there. So I'm going back in, shading down with this blue. Yeah, that's looking cool. Get blue, get a burgundy. Right around this, where this light was, we need to have it pretty dang dark. So I'm going to go in here with this blue and burgundy, because that it's going to make it look that much more bright, right? Flip this over. Oh yeah, that was looking good. Flip it back here, same thing. Want that really dark all around because that's going to make the rest of the glow even more bright looking. All right, so let's go ahead and take a little white and a little bit of green just in the center here. Oh, this is going to be the trickiest part here, trying to get each one of these little here. That's not too bad. Little white, little green. We can go back over it with green if we need to. Helps to get like a little bit of a rhythm. Okay, I like that. Go back with my green, just green without white, and hit that over the top, just to make it so it's not chalky anymore. Yes, I like. Okay. Let's try it again with the white, just a little bit over here. I'm just gonna put a tiny bit of like little glow on her elbow back here, just a smidge, see what happens. Actually like it, but not a lot. So over here with the white and the green, just down the center. Ooh, too much. All right. Anything that is overly white, we can go ahead and hit back with the green again. See? Yeah. Yeah, that makes a big difference. I like it. Ooh, so pretty. Okay, I need either some, I think I need some glossy black. Let's see, what do I have in? I've got, I don't know if this is glossy, but we'll use it. It is some Instar, pure black. It's nice and thin, that's why I like it. If this doesn't work, I will look for my other glossy black. I'm gonna just take a little bit of this black and a little bit of this blue together. And we're gonna define some of the outlines on her arm here. There we go, that looks good. So around her, this is what you call dark lining. Really, black is gonna work a little better than the blue. Let's just go with the black. So anywhere that something is touching her skin, I want to add that little drop line. And on her dress, definitely. She's got actually quite a lot of little hoses on her dress. Let's get the top. Lots of contrast. I like it. Okay. Just putting in some shadows where she needs it. All right, let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and make sure I've got her eyes just how I want them. She kind of has a little bit of a brow, but that's okay. And I'm going to give her a little tiny reflection dot on her bottom lip. Yeah. Let's take a tiny bit of yellow with this pink. Let's see if we can highlight pink with yellow. Yep. It looks better than pink with pink. We'll knock that back down with another pink if we need to. Yes. All right, then take that first pink and we're gonna highlight off at the top of our yellow. It'll help blend it. I'm gonna add a little bit of this pink here. I think I just accidentally got her kneecap a little bit messed up. It's actually harder to clean up an area that is light than it is an area that's dark. Well, that was kind of a happy accident like that, so cute. So it's looking good. Let's go back with our copper. And all those little tubes that are attached to her body, I'm going to go ahead and hit those with a copper highlight to really show them where they are. That is looking cool as hell. Yes. Okay, lastly, I want to do some silver on her little claws because she's got these really cool little talons in the front. And I've got some Model Air silver, which is really nice and silvery. Oh, gotta unplug it. Okay. It's like liquid metal coming out of there. All right, just silver. Just on the edges. Right, on the very front of that. Oh, that looks great. Those look great. Actually, I'm just painting the whole blade because it looks good. Yeah. Yeah, that's what it needed. It needed something to pop in front. Notice that I'm turning the model. I'm not moving my brush. My brush is in the same general direction that it has been the whole time. There we go. All right, last, let's see, do we want anything on these? Yes, over here. These last back ones. Yeah, I think that works. If I need to go ahead and clean stuff up, I will. Yeah, that looks cool. Sharp, sharp. All right, I think those are pretty dark, so I want to go ahead and shade those down a little bit with some of the black and blue. See? Oh, I missed some over here. Black and blue and red, just so it's a dark color, and then just kind of put it on and then blend it down. Oh, it's still wet. I gotta wait till it's completely dried out, otherwise it's not gonna work. Feel free to use like a wash instead if you think that'll be quicker. That looks good. And I'm just putting this dark color on the sides of these front blades. So there we go. All right, last but not least, we've got her little ground cover there. So I'm going to use some of the same colors that I already used. I don't want to add a lot of new colors. So I'm going to use my I'm going to use a small wedge like this. I'm going to take some pink and some yellow and this burgundy to try to make, let's take more yellow and a little bit of this. There we go. We're going to make it a fleshy browny tan. I'm just going to kind of overbrush here. Let's add a little bit of this blue so we can make it into more of a gray. Yep, that actually looks better as a gray. With that cold. Go and put some more brown back in there. Try not to get any on my model. That's tricky. She's kind of floating, and I think if you put her together right, she shouldn't be floating. Mine is floating because, again, I didn't have some directions when I started putting her together, so I just guessed. And I think you should paint, you should paint the base before you paint her for sure. All right, it's okay. We're gonna let that dry some. We're gonna take a quick cut here, and I'm gonna mute while I hair dry this. And now we're back, and I'm gonna take some of this white, and I'm just gonna dry brush with white over the top of my dried rock here. Just a little bit, maybe a little bit warmer. We'll go with this. Yeah, that's better. I like that. Just a little bit to enhance that rock. That looks cool. I like that a lot. Okay, last thing, last but not least, we're gonna paint the edge of the base nice and black. All right, that looks awesome. And I think there you have it. Mystique or Maltique. I'm gonna real quick, I'm gonna just take a little bit of this magenta and just shade her dress a little bit with it. Yeah, that's what it needed. It needed just that little bit of pop on the edges. All right, I think that I'm gonna call it here. And so yeah, let me know what you think in the comments, and definitely if you want to go and buy Maltique for yourself, you can go to creaturecaster.com and get her. It's a limit. I believe it's a limited quantity, so you know, go now and reserve your copy. All right, thanks so much. Let me go ahead and do my outro. Bye guys, thanks so much. Maltique.